Or should I say, what is up, guys? Hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me get some of this stuff toned down a little bit here. All right. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I am just trying to get my window back open. It should be pretty straightforward. What is going on, everybody? Can y'all hear me? I'm going to start at the bottom in case you can't hear me. Jim Tergliferius here, channel member. Joe Isabella's here, channel member. We got Brother Marco in the house. We've got Chris229, channel member. Neil McKenzie, channel member. What is up? I feel like my voice is cutting out. Maybe that's just where I'm moving. B Shady, channel member. What is up? And Marco's in the house. We got Colby in the house. Good to see you guys. I know Beast has got stuff going on. I didn't see MC tonight, but the schedule, you never know, right? I've got this pinned at the top of the chat. You guys should see it in your YouTube chat. And that is the member giveaway for tonight. And then I've got another giveaway that we'll do later in the evening. I am going to talk about giveaways at some point here in a second. And again, it's none of this is directed at any of y'all. Y'all might have heard it in other chats. There have been some really diligent community members who have checked on different lives, usually the ones that advertise giveaways, that do them on posts, where you can, leave a comment all week. I only do that really on member giveaways. I've done it on a couple of subscriber, but what I'm not trying to do is draw people in for giveaways just to get giveaways, right? When I give knives away, it's kind of like if we were all at a show or something and I could actually give you a knife. So when I give my little speech, my little new kind of rules coming up, it's not directed at any of you guys. Those of you that I see in here every week, like Angry Tom, who I hadn't seen here for the last 2 years, but I've seen him. Miranda's always here. Terry, I mean, I know you guys, and if you're active in the chat, you're going to be fine. If somebody comes up that happens to win the random giveaway, the member giveaway is totally different because it's secured. But if anybody comes up and it's nobody in the chat recognizes them, I don't recognize them. And there's nothing wrong with coming into the live streams and lurking. I do that a lot of times where I don't ever say a word. But what happened is, and y'all might have heard it, is this guy sent out a really good guy, all these different, it was a Nexus program that's out of Yugoslavia, Russia, somewhere, but they had a proxy here in the US, and he had live videos from Bees, from JD for EDC, his 5,000 giveaway where he gave away a really nice knife this guy happened to win. Hold on a second, guys. Never mind. That was my dad calling in. I'm going to let him go. But this guy won, this one guy who doesn't even live in the United States, who has like 30 different, he even gets in on the number game, and he has a 6-number spread. I had this whole diatribe that I wasn't going to print out. But bottom line is, there are people in the community, very, very few, who will take advantage of people. And then there are people outside the community who look at it as a kind of free-for-all. So if you win something outside of the member giveaway, and I don't know you and nobody vouches for you, I might say come back next week and draw again, because I want to make sure that somebody that I know, that I've communicated with, that I've seen in the chats, even if it's not been in my chat, but I've seen somewhere in the knife world, gets the knife. Tony Boombots, what is going on, brother? It was great meeting you, my friend. Jimmy Crow, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening. Y'all give Jimmy a howdy ho, and just like that. It's, yeah, Jim, I think a lot of people do. And a lot of, people in the, I guess you'd call it the reviewer community, giveaways are kind of a hot topic in some of the different group chats that we're in. And I think giveaways, especially when you have a company or companies sending you a whole lot of knives, you're not going to keep all those knives. Those should be given away. Those should be given away as often as possible after you review them. There's no need to keep them. Then there are people that publicize giveaways, which makes sense because you want to grow your audience. And if giveaways in the title, that's one of the highest searched YouTube terms. So you're going to draw a larger live audience, which is good if that's what you want to do. I want to grow a community, and the community that I'm growing already exists because I was part of it and am part of it. If that makes any sense. Hey, Roman M, what's up? Thomas McDonald, what's up? So the point is, I will do giveaways as long as I do giveaways. Right now, every knife I give away, with the exception of a few, are coming out of my collection. They're my knives. I bought them. I'm happy to give them away because I don't carry them, and I want them to go to somebody I know or somebody that participates and supports the channel or comes in here and hangs out, a knife dude or a knife dudette. That's what I want to happen. I don't want some strange name to come in and then get another weird email address, with some other weird instructions, because there's some just shenanigans that go on. I mean, I've got a dad. I'm not going to go off on this tangent, but he's like 86 and he's got dementia. We finally had to turn off his home phone because there's a whole industry of people that prey on people like him, i.e., there's a whole internet, live stream, social media, grifting, scamming, nasty things that go on both sides of the screen, right? Again, my big thing is, and hopefully it's going to come to fruition, because I reached out to several people who I talked to at Blade Show, and hopefully I will get some knives. I know I'm going to get some knives in that I'm not keeping, and I'll mention where they came from when they come across the table, how long I'm keeping them, who I'm sending them back to. Michael, I need to take life advice, buddy. But I'm hopefully going to get, and I know I'm going to get from Kaiser, and some others are sending me stuff to review, and then they're going to put me on as new stuff comes out, which to me is awesome because I don't have the funds to buy budget knives now and buy nice knives. I don't have the funds to buy anything now, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm not buying a lot of budget knives, but I want to be able to bring good budget knives to the community, to people. That's what I used to watch, so I want to offer as much as I can on the channel. And what's great about building those relationships with those makers who will let you try their knives is they give quality, new in box giveaway stuff every week. And that's the whole deal. And I don't think you'll never have to be I'll do member giveaways differently, because the member giveaways have all been knives that are really higher end knives that came out of my collection that I just don't happen to carry anymore. I don't know why I can't flip this. And this is the one we're giving away tonight, the Flicks. Just a great knife. But I want to be able to give stuff away as often as I can, right? So by having those relationships, I'll make sure that I pass them forward, right? You'll never have to buy a raffle ticket. You'll never have to donate to get it. It just doesn't work that way. It's just all about you guys watch the content. You guys come to the live. You guys give me a reason to talk to myself about knives when I'm filming stuff. And I want you guys to win. So any strangers, with the exception of people that we're meeting, like Jimmy, and people that have come in and said, hey, and that are talking, like Michael, people who I don't know as well as I know a lot of you, but at the same time, I do want our community to grow in the same way that I came to it, which was just finding it and then having it turn into a place that I really like to be. So I just don't want it to turn into somebody coming in with a bunch of different, and this alleged person who we will eventually call out. Paul Mills, what is up, my brother from another mother? I'm just on a little rant, channel member. And this goes to none of you guys. But I don't know how many of y'all have heard that are new here, but there has been caught by excellent channel members who sent out to all the creators this list of email addresses, usernames, and this nexus of proxies videos from Metal Complex to Bees Blades to several from Bees, from G-Ball, I think, several others. This person, people, cartel, whoever has won a shitload of our knives. One of them was JD for EDC's 5,000 giveaway that he saved up for. Jesse, what's up, channel member? He bought it. He wanted to give it away because he appreciates, like I do, everybody that watches this content. So when we do the random giveaways, I'm not going to usually send you to a channel. It's going to be something that we come up real quick. You know, this scam group, and I'll try to put it together in a way where I can share it with you guys. They even had a way to play number games. They won JD or Kathleen, welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you, sister. But they found ways to play the number game. And the people who uncovered this turd burglar, absolutely Space Ghost channel member, they would pick like 3 digits apart, and then they'd go 6 digits and 3 digits because they had so many names playing all at once. And for them to be able to execute it is quickly, sometimes people leave them up there for a while, right? I think the ones that are most vulnerable are as if you on a Tuesday say, this is the Friday night giveaway. I want as many people to come as possible. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel. You're going to get a lot of those type of people in there. Y'all go give. Let's do Tony. Tonight is Tony, and that's who we're going to go. I'm going to find a video. Y'all are going to ease over there. You're going to subscribe to him and leave a comment. And that's what we're going to do our non-member giveaway tonight. So Tony Boombots, who's in there, we want to get him at least 30 subs if possible. Fantastic guy. He and I walked around Saturday. I came into Blade Show guys Saturday. I will never do a one dayer again, even though I had a great time with Dark Gravity and his son. We got up at like 4, got there when it opened. My legs were so beat because I'm not in good shape. I don't move around as much as I used to. I'm not big, but I'm just not, my legs were killing me. And not only are there so many booths you want to see, but there's so many people I wanted to see that I knew were there, right? I knew they were there. I didn't get to see them. We ended up leaving about 4 o'clock Georgia time because I ended up having to, or was supposed to go live at 8:30, 8:45, which I did. But it was just one of those things that was kind of too short. You can't get it all done in 4 days. The first year I went, I came on a Friday and left on a Sunday. And I was mad at myself for leaving that Sunday leaving late that Sunday night, because Sunday after the show is where everybody seemed to get together and go eat, and the show was over and they visited at one of the Airbnbs. And that's what the best parts for me of Blade Show has always been, were hanging out over at Said Stevie's Airbnb, who's over there with Forrest, with Lancelot Leto, with Shane. There's just a lot of good people. Jim Miller, you got Ed Harrison, you've got people that meet up. El Cap Addict. Speak of, we're talking about turd burglars, and we're talking about valued community members who took the time to uncover shenanigans. But yeah, it's just, so if in my giveaways, because again, they'll never be publicized ever, and y'all go sub to Tony. I'm not going to tell you which video yet, because I just may have y'all all go sub to Tony, and I'll sit here and watch his sub count. He's at 471. He's at 473. So what we might do is we might just pump Tony. I'm going to go in here because I could do the member giveaway later, and you guys know you do not have to be present as a member to win. All you have to do is leave a comment in that video. I will find you, but I'm going to unpin that, and I'm going to pin Tony. So what I want you to do, please, if y'all get the chance and you're not yet, go sub to Tony Boombots, watch one of his shorts, Jim, what's going? Give me a little. Is he going to be okay? Is he stable? Is it something that he knew? Did something happen on the way? That's discouraging. Tony, I was white too, but y'all please go to the linked video or the link channel, find something to watch, give him a sub, hit the bell notification icon. He is right now at, I'm going to share screen. He is right now at 475 subscribers, 94 videos, putting in the work. He's got some cool stuff. This is the gentleman I hung out with and rocked down about two halls, two rows. Where's my volume?
Rocking a Magna Decker, sitting at the beach. Have a great day. Hey, all your dads out there, have a happy Father's Day.
See, that's the kind of people and the type of channels that I promise you'll enjoy. There's so many good creators out there. And when I say good creators, I look at one of the most successful because I beat myself up and I know I've got to up my game. Demonoc, what is up, brother? Michael, what is up? No Father's Day Sunday. You're good. You're good. But everything kind of rolls the same way. And when I say that, if you find creators that you like, don't get hung up because I've been beating myself up going, I've got to do more. I've got it, and I'm going to do a different video where I do it front facing and use this camera because I do have something I want to show you guys, and I'll show it tonight. But it's not knife related. But I wish I had it at Blade Show because I'm going to use it to meet to trade contacts with people. But it is trying to think the best way to say it. So there's nothing wrong, and I think there's a great place for cinematic, great content that takes a lot of time to put things together. And I think there's an audience for that. And I think there's a crossover audience. I do what I call overviews. I produce or try to produce what I used to like to watch. And one of them who's the most successful now is Metal Complex. Now he had a different personality, a better personality, but he did Table Down. I could get a good view of the knife, or Nick Shabazz. I could get a good view of the knife. I could go search and find a breakdown video if I needed to. Trust me, I watched one of them break down the ram lock before I did, which is an easy knife to take apart. But my point is, I want to up my content game, but it really comes down to what the audience, you guys, type knives you want to see. And if I look at my analytics, which I try not to, they tell me that fixed blades 10 to 1. I mean, 10 to 1, 20 to 1 blow away any folder in my collection. It's just it just happens. Oh, I didn't enter in. So yeah, it is. I can put up unboxings do well, regular one knife videos, not so much. And I get it because you've kind of got to be looking for that knife and this knife right here. And this knife right here. And which other one was it? Oh, the one in my pocket. Jim Teglifera, 6 months. Thank you, brother. And then this one here, my Mac 2. All three of those knives are now running on Skiff thick washers. I'm going to show you some in a second, and y'all are going to help me decide which ones to put them on next. But I was never a huge washer guy. My Strider, I never loved them on the what is up, Be Shady? Okay, let me see what I've got to do that you dudes have to realize. Tony Boone Bots is lowest, so he gets the first wrench. I don't get to see the wrenches. Angry Tom has been around enough to get a wrench. I'm going to find Jay, but I don't see who doesn't have wrenches in StreamYard. So I need that help. I appreciate it. I think Jay's got one. Tony's got one. And then as people hang around, what I do is I like work knife balance. I don't know if he's still in here, but he needs one. I want everyone to have a moderator wrench because what it allows you to do, not put people in timeout, which it does, but trust me, they'll come back, they'll put you in timeout. It never works out. Use it to share people's links. Use it to share your own social links. Use it to, let people know about you. Because again, I'm subbed to probably no less than 100 channels. Do I watch them all? No, but what they do is they trickle content across my feed, which stamps out some of the other weird shit I watch, if that makes any sense, right? So, and it's good to support small creators. I mean, we're all small creators. You've got some big creators, and you compare them to like other YouTube genres, and they're small creators. So it's all relative. It all comes down to whether you're speaking to one or to 100 or to more. Each of those people, you guys, are part of the community. I don't look at it as you're an audience, even though you are when it comes to if you like the content I'm putting out. And hopefully, by us being a community and you guys knowing me, if you need to see something different or some different type of content, somebody will DM me, kind of let me know. Because like right now, the collection dives were just something I wanted to kind of go through and put those in a playlist. I'd have them done for 2024. We're almost done with them. They're not getting a lot of love. I know they're long. I don't expect them to, but what people seem to like is different comparison type videos, looking at several knives, looking at new knives, unboxings, things like that. Um, what did you get today? I've not gotten new knives. I've gotten a couple of new knives in the last couple of weeks. And I do have some stuff, like I said, allegedly, Space Ghost. Thank you, brother. Crewware needs a wrench, and you guys do not have to super chat me. I appreciate it and need it and love it. And thank you, but you do not have to super chat me to let me know somebody needs a wrench. Just scream at me with all caps and I will see it. Let me find crewware. Boom. Moderator. Handled. Let me just sit here. I'm not going to be looking at the chat for chats. I'm looking at it for people who don't have blue wrenches that I know. So, and if I don't know you well enough today, if you come back or you find it interesting, I will eventually know you. Even though I'm the worst at reading chat, I'm the worst at reading comments, although I'm trying to get better. That's one of the things that I've consciously thrown myself into each night. And I've learned that you can put absolutely as much time as there is in a day into a channel, a small channel like mine, and still not be able to engage with everybody. And I'm not talking about the trolls because they're out there too, people who are just going to be difficult. I've got one guy, he's great. At first, I thought he was a troll. I don't think he is anymore. He only watches my shorts. And every one of his comments, I have to hit translate. And he'll have a real short sentence. And I'm sure it's because he doesn't speak my language. And he'll say, kind of cool, but no. you know, hard no. And then he'll see something that fits what he would use it for. And he's like, exactly what I'm looking for. So everybody communicates differently. What I don't want to do, two things. One, I'm not a know it all, I'm a knife user, just like you guys. However, be shady. That is sweet. The V3 is the frame lock. You're going to love it. I hung out with the frame lock and with the liner lock, which was I think the V3. They're both great. I mean, this knife is fantastic. And for those of you who don't want to drop this kind of money on a Brian Brown knife, he just released with Civivi, one that was at Blade Show. That was probably one of the most impressive knives I handled. That's very much a Jaeger with a hollow grind that's sick in Nitro V, I believe. We'll look at it in a second, but it is 68 bucks. So great knives, great stuff. But yeah, the main thing is I hate Five Knives Fast videos. I rarely watch them anymore. Yeah, they're not, and everybody what's so weird is I think my personal, I guess, philosophy, which is unfortunately selfish. What's up, Jacob? I don't mean selfish in that it's selfish. It's the only way I know how to do it, which is how and what drew me to it, right? So what drew me to it was watching the type videos that would show me the knife or show me how to take it apart. But keep in mind, I did not rely on a feed because I wasn't yet in the knife community. I started searching for certain knives that I wanted to check out. I might watch Blade HQ. I might see a knife that I'd want to go see 5 or 6 reviews on it. And through that, I would find a couple of reviewers like MC, like Stasa, like Shabazz, like what's the guy that disappeared, Slicey Dicey. And then as you start to watch more and more videos that you're specifically searching for, you'll get suggested other creators like Lefty, like Kyle, who was great seeing them all three together last night. So it expanded my horizons and brought me more into the community. Then I discovered lives, which didn't start until a couple of years ago. And that's where everybody started to kind of recognize people and Blade Show. And it's all kind of turned into what I want it to be is a community thing, right? I do want people to watch the content, but I feel like if I put out a large enough catalog with enough different knives that are searchable, eventually people who are looking for those knives will stumble across them. Awesome, Jamie. They killed it at the show. I'd almost say they had some of the best stuff there as anywhere. And Fook, there is no rush. I started all of my collecting. Everybody, what's up? Nobody listens to Eric. Welcome. Greetings. I came from my ex-wife was from Northwest Arkansas. I got married in Northwest Arkansas. I used to hang out in Eureka Springs with my ex, but it's a beautiful, beautiful country. But Fig Doozle, I started out 3 years ago, right around lockdown. And the first knife I bought was a CRKT CEO. Then I bought a Penguin. Then I got, I got to the point to where I had an Apache and a half case full of no knives over 50 bucks. And there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever you like it. What happened to me is I started talking to a good friend of mine locally, Dark Gravity, and I said, dude, you've got such nice knives. I'm interested in Hinders, but I'm not drawn to them. This one's on skiff washers now too. Um, Plus, they're $425, right? They're a little more expensive than what I'm normally spending. He said, John, look at your Apache case. Now, you don't have resale on budget knives, but they're great. They're cut just as well. But all I had to do, because I was buying so many, was not buy 7 to 8 budget knives that I was just going to put in a case. They've all been given away now. Most of them have. But I could put that same amount of dough towards knives that A would be more valuable to me and would be nicer knives. So your journey is going to go wherever it goes. Michael, my first knife when I got back into collecting right around COVID was a British racing green ZDP 189 Dragonfly. I picked it up locally at St. Nick's Knives. And there's no rush to premiums, guys. I don't know if y'all saw Jared's video, but Jared did a video about he's done. And it was kind of clickbaity, but I thought it was we're at 478 subscribers on Tony Boombots. So I need everyone, if possible, because that and the trust are our virtual handshake that we're having right now is that the giveaway that I'm going to do in a little while is contingent upon everyone please going to subscribe to Tony. I met him in person. I've watched his content. I like his vibe. I think y'all will too. And it'll get him to 500 subs, and that's a huge step. So what happened to me is I was all about the having something incoming, right? It was something to do with the dopamine and me being a recovering addict, a little over 8 years now, but where I still needed I loved having something incoming and I'd always check and I loved running to the mailbox. I didn't have a channel yet and I'd unbox it and I'd play with it for a little while and I'd stick it in the case because I inevitably had something else coming. Had a good job. Everything was great. I was just spending my knife budget on a whole bunch of Civivis, Kaisers, nothing wrong with them. Finches that I still have. I still have a lot of these knives in my collection. They haven't made it to giveaways yet because they're so good. Um, and over time, and I swore I'd never have a slip joint. I had no use for it, and I'd never have a fixed blade. I kept an open mind, and over time, what's up, Steve Kelly? What's up, Stephen Wallace? And up over time, I got into them. Neil McKenzie, congratulations, brother. That's fantastic. Kathleen, I think we'll get in there tonight. I'll keep his name out there. I've got him pinned right now up in the comments, and Tony's a good guy. We'll from time to time go over and remind people that the channel of the week is Brother Tony Boombots, who I had the pleasure of hanging with over at Blade Show. He's got 94 videos out. He's at 478 subscribers. Let's see if we've moved up. 479. One at a time. That's all it takes. We're in no rush. But my point is there's really not much of a point. Does that make any sense? You can do your own thing, but you can take and do your own thing with whatever X amount of resources are, and then just choose, do I want to continue to get into this type of knife? Do I want to maybe try this knife out? And I've got my Tony, my first real knife was a little case fixed blade that I still have that I carry dove hunting. But the first knife I remember, I'm reviewing it later tonight. It's a buck 110 that I had probably from 77 or 78. Fantastic knife. Again, I could live with that knife. I don't need the knives I've got. I'm a collector now. I'm an enthusiast. I like them. I like to see what is going on with technology, with innovation. I don't know if y'all saw Jared's video today. I don't know if y'all watched Jared. If you don't, I would suggest that he's a good one to follow because I get a lot of really good information from him. I think he's very, very knowledgeable. I think he's taught me how to sharpen without knowing it, and he's got some really good videos. And the video that I was attracted to today, and guys, I don't have time to watch a lot of content now, but this video right here is Blade Show rigged. I don't know if y'all saw this, and it's not at all ugly. It's not saying yay, nay, or the other. It's basically talking about the company that won most innovative knife of the show, and companies that weren't even mentioned, like Brian Winters, who's developed a double action, whoops, where'd it go? A double action automatic that's also manual. So that was the number one automatic. And like Jared said, out of fairness, it could have been that it was just out the fronts. And the live wire is a great knife. No disputing that there are a ton of great knives. But the knife that won most innovative, and when I think of innovative, Brian Winters is one that comes to mind. This was the most innovative knife of the show. It was a CRKT. It has a wine opener, it looks like built into it, and it cuts. And I'll let y'all go watch it on your time, but there's there are voices in the community, and this knife right here is next level. I mean, if anyone couldn't say, well, this is pretty innovative, it's got a manual deployment and manual drop shuttiness, but it's also an automatic. Tony, which one? Let's see if we can find it. Whoops, let's reload. But there's a lot of stuff, and everybody has different opinions. That's what is so good about all of it. But at the same time, I think you're going to see that a lot of times things get stirred up for no reason. Um, yeah, I think a lot of us were, and I know when I was in the high-end cabinet business and we would go to the kitchen and bath show each year, which was either in Las Vegas or Chicago. It was a much bigger show, but it was a big show. Um, there was a lot of pay to place that just went on. It was the way that it was. I have no I'm not insinuating that any of that goes on now at all. I'm just saying that just like with an objective versus an infomercial review, you have to think, just like with Hollywood and other things, that places get infiltrated by special interest, whether they're considered special interest or not, that are trying to get into somebody's ear and sway a result. Um, I think the best way to do really anything, looking back on it, is just be authentic and do you. Everything else you'll find the people that are most likely to be compatible with you because you're not trying to be something that you're not. And you will either be exposed for being who you say you are, or you'll be exposed for a lot of things not lining up. Um, it's just that would be my advice to anybody. Is just be yourself. If you're having a bad day and you're wanting to go cuss somebody out, maybe it's best to restrain. I'm not saying don't use restraint. I'm just saying don't try to mirror those around you. That's my personal what I've picked up over the years. When I was a younger dude, I was very much about wanting to fit in and being in the crowd. And the crowd, the older you get, you realize that there's no really such thing as a waste of except it was a waste of time. Um, so yeah, that would be my advice to anyone is be yourself, like what you like, don't like what other people like. I find myself being influenced more by things that people that I respect, creators, find kind of offensive or don't like, that I know enough about what they don't like that I've made some really good John decisions based on that. Illuminati. No, I was starting off, it was and this is the end of the conversation, I need to get back to the chat, but I'm only letting giveaways that are subscriber giveaways, like one I'm doing tonight, which I don't even really know what I'm giving away, but it'll be something right now we're going to Tony Boombots. There's no video, no way to enter, but we're trying to get him over 500 subs. His, videos or his page is posted at the top of the chat, but no longer stranger danger winners. There have been some things that aren't from anybody in the chat, and none of them came from my lives. And all of the lives were looked through, and names were compared and crossed with usernames. And it's just something that it's unfortunate to look at. And I've heard, because it's in a group chat from individual creators, like I would be disappointed if, like Tri-State, I shipped a knife overseas for somebody that won, and they're one of these many people who have been winning knives from people like Rody and Jim and Joe and Tony, who are around not because they want to win knives. I know that's not why y'all are here, but the only reason I think a content creator or a video reviewer or somebody who likes to talk about knives would give those knives away is because they want them to go to somebody who they think will enjoy them, that they feel like is somehow part of their tribe, right? Um, so you do have to be 18 years old. You do have to have a continental US address. And if you pop up a stranger and nobody vouches for you, we're going to have to draw again. And I'll probably tonight, this is outside of the member giveaway, which I'm going to draw. By the way, let me see. I need to check on that. But that's a totally different thing. Those aren't going to happen all the time. But when they do, those are for people. And like if your membership ended last week, you're still a member through the end of the month. So by all means, if you can get in and leave a comment into the member giveaway, whether I know your name or not, you're going to win the knife because that's just how I feel is fair to give those type of knives more to those people. I give away good knives here too. Tonight, I was thinking about giving away something really cool. And this is my little titanium until I got my butterfly knife frame lock razor knife on bell bearings, totally drop shutty. Comes with a box of blades, but you can use any what are they called? S53. There's some designation that makes them have deep enough use there. Jim Miller gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Jim. I need to see who won those. But anyway, if you get like I've got some tool steel blades that are a little bit too shallow, and this one screw does not screw back in. But this is a great little, I put it in my pack. It is totally in my little call it my bug out bag that goes inside of my shoulder bag, but it's got great detent. I've seen, I think when Lefty had his, he was able to put a T6 screw in here, but I like being able to, it doesn't get loose on me. I like being able to use it by hand. You don't have to take out these other T6s, but it's a really cool knife. I picked it up at Amazon, about 70 bucks, high quality, perfectly centered, and a cool utility knife. So that's probably going to be, that's the best knife I've got to give away tonight that I think would be a cool knife for somebody. But what you need to do is go subscribe to Tony Boombots. And I want to see how many subs he's up to, just out of curiosity. Let me see. We were at 479. Guys, we're at 480. I would love, love, love for him to pick up What is up? Said Stevie. I did get to hug said Stevie. We only got to see each other for about 4 or 5 minutes, but it was fantastic seeing them. I miss more people than I got to see. Um, but like I got to meet Tony. We hung out. I got to see Jim. I got to see said Stevie. I hugged Sweaty Shane when he was walking out with Mimo. Not Mimo. Iggy. I don't know why when I have like a Michael Morgan Mimo acronym put together in my mind and I think about Iggy, it's just I'm just brain dead that way. Um, so yeah, win a giveaway, you've got to be familiar. And again, luckily, I have I have not taken the time to go out and block all those names, but I don't think they come into my chat because I don't ever talk about giveaways except when we're in here. Awesome, Jay. And again, we might not make it to 500, but I know from walking Blade Show with him that he is really passionate about knives and he likes sharing his thoughts on knives. Ian Coates, welcome, brother. Good to see you, man. You don't have a wrench. Hold on, I'm going to give you a wrench in case you want to share up your Instagram, your Nkosi stuff. Where are you? Good to see you, buddy. So see, Ian, I see all the time in other chats. So if he were to come up a winner, I know he's not here just to try to game the system, right? And Dan Brock, what is up, buddy? You lurk all you want to, man. And like Dan Brock, you guys might not see him or not, but these are people I have met in person. And just the fact that they're here is awesome. They are, if we were all sitting around in a room and I was giving away knives I didn't carry, they would both be at the top of the list. Um, Ian, I only came in Saturday morning. I was with it was it was crazy for me to even try to do it. My schedule was kind of tight this year, but I wanted to go. And Dark Gravity has always been opposed to staying over for the whole weekend because he is just a great he's a much better husband than I was. He likes to always be at home with his wife and his kids. So he and his son and I went to Blade Show. We left at 4 o'clock Saturday morning. We got there when the doors open at 9. By 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd gone back and forth between two halls because there were several companies and people that I wanted to see, not to count people that I wanted to see that are friends of mine that I see every year. He is a little badass, said Stevie. He's so proud of that knife too. Um, but yeah, it's just you can't do it in one day. It's I'm glad I went for one day because I got to at least experience it. And I think I picked up that there was a smaller crowd. There were still hinders available. I think the economy is really, I think now is not the greatest time to be on the secondary market unless you're buying. Um, I mean, Saturday afternoon, the Hinderer cases were full. Now, some of the customs, all the customs, Brashear Bear, what is up? Welcome, welcome. Most of the Hinderer specialties and like the custom Demcos and stuff were sold, but there were still knives to be had by those that were fortunate enough to want them. And to me, it did not seem as crowded. Humphrey, what is going on? Where'd you go? There you are. Guys, I've not bought any knives. I've not bought a knife for probably close to 4 months. Now, right before I quit buying knives, I was not spiraling, I was binging. That's what it was. I was on a I was on a path, right? Where I was buying shit I didn't need, couldn't afford, but I could really afford it, so it was gonna put me in a hurt down the road, but if I'm in a hurt down the road, I've got a cool ass knife in my pocket. I don't think very smart. It's ADHD thing. But it is it is very interesting to say the least. I've been able to trade a couple of knives, which has been really cool because you come into contact with knives that you're not necessarily, because there's nothing I'm really looking for. You get to a point, and again, going back to another one of Jared's videos where he says he's done, he's just talking about, is there a place that any of you guys can imagine where you've lost a lot of the inspiration to look at new stuff? A great example, Dark Gravity. He is a huge knife fanatic, has been for much longer than I have. He's been in the knife game forever. He's a certified heat treater. He works in the steel industry. He has a lot of reason to like knives. Well, for Christmas, his wife got him a Sabenza, and he already had a Strider and he had a Hinder, and he has a great collection. But he only carries a few knives. He likes American knives. He likes American clothes. And even going to Blade Show, he said, I'm really going to see people to see what it's like. There's nothing I really want. And Jared was kind of echoing that too. I'm hopefully going to be in a position to where I have knives that I can look at that I can either pass on to the community or send back. A lot of the relationships I've made, that I'm hoping to try out knives, I'm not looking for free knives. I'm looking to unbox a knife, show it off, use it, maybe make 2 videos and send it back. And I've got a really cool one coming in. And I can promise you it was not given to me. It's a knife that you see a lot of times that are circulated around, but I'm looking to show them off. You guys only are going to want to see my knives that much. And for a while, I was buying way too many knives. But the great thing about that is I've really come back to appreciate a lot of knives. I mean, I've got like this Benchmade Adamas with these applied weapons technology scales. This is a fantastic knife. It's a great size to carry. It's full sized. You got this nice meaty jimping. Fits the hand great. Drop shut. And I wasn't paying it any attention. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to my Shaman. That back in the day, this is probably the 3rd set of scales I put on it that I settled on. I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had working through whatever you've got to work with, right? Whatever your collection is. These are those thick washers. So these are 5 millimeters. So these are either going to go in my Buzz, my F5.5, my Axon, my Avant, one of my giant mouses, yada, yada, something like that. But what they are is Steve has made these highly refined phosphorus bronze washers. I think these are 1/16 very tightly. If you put them to the cheat sheet, they're 1/16 thick. So they will actually replace a set of bearings. Like if you work in a environment like, let's say Dark Gravity, a steel mill where there's a lot of dust and you're constantly having to rinse your knife out because it's got bearings and you really don't want that. I've learned just by experimenting, because at first I was just doing it for science. My first video was just for science. It was this knife right here. I planned on putting the washers in it, taking them out, and putting bearings back in it. The skiff bearings are still in the box. This knife has skiff thick washers, slick them all. It feels so much more solid. No, it doesn't drop shut like a guillotine, but it shakes shut, flies open. So I had washers for my little baby Banner, which is a bearing knife. 100% blade lockup, no movement. even at 90 degrees. And my little baby Banter is currently running on phosphorus bronze washers, which I thought was pretty cool. And lastly, Hinderers are Traway. So they ship with washers from Hinderer. But basically what you get is you get a phosphorus bronze washer and you get a stainless steel washer to give the tolerance, the thickness tolerance between the scale and the bearing mill out and the blade so you don't have any slop. The difference with a 1/4 inch skiff bearing or washer is it's one washer. I've got the pivot pretty much tweaked down. I could tweak it down where it wouldn't shut at all, but it gives it such a totally different action. And the skiff washers are like $7 before you use Javon 10 if you're interested in doing that. So my project for after the live tonight is either to put washers in this, put washers in my Axon, put washers in my Avant, my Buzz, or my Mash. The original Penguin is one of the first 5 knives I bought. It was the denim micarta, and it to this day had the best action. It was fantastic. I had a Jim Miller, I think, donated me a carbon fiber one. It might have been someone else, and I apologize if I got the name wrong, but someone donated me a carbon fiber liner lock Penguin to give away, and it was a wonderful, wonderful knife, but it was not nearly the action and the slickness, probably because I'd opened and closed the other Penguin so much. Yeah, washers to me, we've always kind of, except for smocks, dealt with them on Spyderco's, and for me, that wasn't the best washer experience, because Spyderco's are kind of janky. I'm sorry, I've just had janky experiences with my Spyderco's. But when I got my Spartan Harseys, when I first put washers, did the Triway Hinderer swap using skiff bearings in my Jurassic or skiff washers, they were great. My Mini 8100 is on washers. And then I noticed my Leatherman Charge. I did not pick it up, Miranda, because I'm not currently able to pick anything up, but I do have one coming to check out for just a little while. Oh, the Jack Wolf Fixie, I played with it at Blade Show. And as you guys know, I'm carrying today a very non-conventional Fixie. But I carry a Fixie every day, either on my belt or in my back pocket. This is a little superlative Hella, little M390, sheep's footy, slicey, flat ground blade, carbon fiber inserts, and a little leather pocket dropper. The abalone and traditional, Miranda, that's the one I would have gotten. I was over at Austin's booth. That thing is so, so nice, and it looks so, so good. And it's under $250 if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people, my buddy Shane, and I mean, I get it. There's a cost factor. There's a return factor, but then there's a lot of work that goes into packaging, conceptualizing, to R&D, to making your protos. That little knife, that little Midnight EDC is an absolute winner. 254 Jim Miller. Yeah, if I was I've got 4 Brashear, and I'm hoping to get the Warney very, very soon. I've been talking to Suzanne. I just they've got a lot of orders they're behind on. And I never try to rush somebody to get my order out. That's why I haven't had any J-Cals come in lately, because he had an issue at his house where he had to do some repairs. He was out of the shop for a while. He's playing catch up. I'm like, dude, I can get my knife whenever. No rush. Scotch, it's stupid pricing for a lot of people. Now, if you look at fixed blades, and I know that because Dog Gravity gave me the lecture that a fixed blade from a production company, which from Tops and Essie, they are cheaper. It's going to cost less to make by a long shot than any folder. And that's where they make their money. But I don't look at it as much this many dollars. It's what utility or what vibe or what value am I getting out of that 250? So for me, not anymore, but I could have gone and gotten, that's not a good example. I could have gone and picked up a baby bug out just like this, put scales on it. It would probably come in around $200 because this is just the basic S30V. A lot of people argue this knife's not worth that. But to me, I enjoy the knife. But if I were to compare this knife to that Midnight EDC, I would much rather have that Midnight EDC. I would trade this knife as it sits in a heartbeat for it. So it's subjective. I get it. But what I don't think, and I could be wrong, I don't think many of the guys in the knife community are making. Now, Ben had a successful business before he ever got into knives. I don't know how close he was to retiring. I think he's in a different life position than Kevin. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's doing it to overcharge everybody. I think he's kind of really had his ear on the market because before he ever made a Jack Wolf, he was one of the biggest. And I got so bored when he was on Kevin's show and they were talking about slip joints because I swore I would never have a slip joint. And we know where that got me. I'm not still buying them, thank God, but I bought a hell of a lot of them. And Jamie, bug outs are great. This is I only have two. I have the baby with the sharp dressed micarta blanket scales. And then my full size bug out is one of my size comparison knife. I can't really reach it right now, but it's got the Metin Boss oil slicked, looked like a World War II airplane chassis. It's a sweet knife. I love it. It's S90V, 20CV. It was the Blade HQ exclusive. Came originally with G10 scales before you could get G10 scales. But it was an easy enough knife to mod. The reason it was easy to mod for me is I watched one of Zach's or one of Nick Shabazz's videos, and this is before Justin came out with his tools. Hey, JD for EDC. We were just talking about why you got to be known to win a giveaway, even though I don't publicize them in here. And if your ears are burning, I was just kind of shared in general the fact that there are a lot of creators that are aware that there are different ways to gain giveaways, and none of the creators that I've communicated with want their giveaways to be gained. So we're trying to put an end to that. But when I watched Zach's video, this was the only tool available at the time that I knew of. And this is from a guy called Pops. I think, no, Pops does the clips. This is something else. But if you look at it, that is a D-shaped little area. And this is a smaller D-shaped little area for a mini bug out. Mr. Harrison has been a member for 14 months. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. But this has made modding bug outs, doing scale swaps, so nice for me, because what you can do is when you go, you take off, you put in your, I guess, your non-pivot side scale, and then you literally take this, whichever size you need, depending on the knife. You have to get a different size if you get a crooked river, but I don't have crooked rivers. This one does most of the bug outs, or all the bug outs I have. And you literally line up that D pivot inside the pivot when you're putting it back in, but when you're pushing it out, you just line it up, push the pivot out, and when you're pushing the pivot out, this bar is going into the knife. So your washers are staying lined up. Your axis lock, you've got to pull back on it a little bit, but it's staying in place. Then you put your scales on top of this, get it locked down the way you want it. You put your pivot on top of that little sharp area right there, and you line up that D, and you just shove the whole damn thing back through there. It's the greatest tool. I know. I know OCD for EDC has them, and I'll pull them all up for you guys to show you because Flytanium makes one. Don't know how good theirs is. Theirs seems smaller. But for under $30, if you've got a lot of bug outs and you do a lot of bug out mods, it is well worth. It's been well worth it to me. You can use a Q-tip. You can get by with other stuff, but what's great about it to me is the pivot fits perfectly on there. So when I push the pivot back through the knife and through the new scales, it's threading the washers. Because Josh, what is up, brother? Josh Branson. It is the exact same diameter. So if I lead you guys over to Etsy real quickly, and I go pivot tool, uh-oh, I can't spell very good. So I didn't say divot. So this is it right here. It's $20. And see, you got that D shape right there. Oh, y'all aren't seeing. Damn it. I had it blown up for you. See, it's perfectly D shaped. You can get them in different materials. Aluminum. Aluminum is what's in stock now. I got stainless steel without grip, but aluminum's good. It will get chewed up. That's steel. That's the one with the grip. Or you can go to here. You can go to OCD for EDC site, Justin's, and he has 3D printed a kit that Zach has videos on that has done very well for him. Let me find it here. Stop sharing. Let me share again. So this is Justin's tool. Justin's got the thing that pushes through with the D shape for different pivot sizes. He's got these little stoppers that go into your lock bar. It's also $20. These are currently sold out. And then we can go to Flytanium. And then Flytanium's got this little guy for $24. Here it is on Etsy. I think the one that the dude made, where'd it go? This little guy right here is the Flytanium one. It's got like a little bit to take it apart. Are y'all seeing that? Yeah, it's got a bit to take it apart. Then this whole thing is a shaft that's D-shaped. So this is only going to fit in one size Benchmade, where the Benchmade pivot tool thingy will fit in more than one. But see, that's how it goes. It goes in there. So once you get your outside scale on, you've got to push your pivot out. Nobody's got a good picture of it doing it. This, I would, if it was me and I was getting one, I would get this one right here. I mean, he's got all 5-star reviews. Those are the scales I've got, except I don't have the. Are y'all seeing that? No, I didn't think you are. Let me share it. Somebody asked, my Benchmade that I carry the bug out all the time has these scales, except they don't have the USA thing there, and they don't have the screaming tiger face. They just got the blue and the oil pattern. But those are Met and Boss, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, guys, there are Father's Day sales going on that I'm not privy to. Because I'm a father. Because I'm on a knife buying freeze. But we could see what's going on at what is up, Colby? Good to see you, brother. What is up, Jeffrey? Good to see you, man. Good to see all you guys. What is up? Nothing listening. Nobody listens to Eric. Yes, they do. Mike Jernak, what is up? Who else have I missed? Have I missed anybody coming in here? Let's check, y'all. I'm about to put the giveaway link for the members up there again, if you haven't remembered yet. But absolutely. And Jimmy, I'll tell you one that was really surprising to put skiffs in. This ram lock, the way the ram lock system is done, is very easy to take apart. It is not, you don't have stuff that's going to come flying out at you. It works out really, really, really well. And guys, remember, all you have to do is leave a comment. You do not have to be present. Because I know it might go late, but I will come find you guys. There will only be one drawn winner. It'll be on the video. I will write it down. I will put it in the member tab, and I'll come find you. I've got a way to find you, I think. The community will find you. We'll find you together. But the giveaway that we're going to do in a little while, we're trying to get brother Tony Boombots. Let me get back to him. He is pinned right now at the top of the chat. He was right under 500 subs. We are up to 484. So he is, what's that, 16 subs away from 500? A really good guy. Here's Tony. I hate to keep throwing
out there. Have a happy Father's Day.
Mark Parks.
Rocking a Magna Decker.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. That's the celebration. But Tony is a good guy, and I would love to see him get to 500. ZT XM18. You know, is the ZT the one that looks like the XM18? I hear the scales are the same. I've never owned a ZT, but I've heard that the sizes are pretty similar to the Hinder, if that's the one that looks like the Hinder XM18. But I never went there. You know, the Strider thing, I got so much hate, and I was almost kicked out of the community because I started with the Effengrow EF225, which is that big SMF looking knife. I brought it in the channel thinking I'd be able to just dog it out because I thought it would be junky. It turned out to be a great knife. I broke it down thinking I would see a small pivot, something junky there. Miranda, the giveaway is, I'm going to pin something right here at the top, and then we're going to put Tony back up there. Give me 1 second, and I'll give you a link. All you have to do is go in there and leave a comment. You don't have to leave anything elaborate. You can just say howdy. I just wouldn't cuss or leave an emoji because for some reason the comment picker doesn't jive with it. I'm going to post it and pin it, but I don't want us to forget about Tony because I would love for him to get to 500. Granted, he'll get there no matter what, but it'd be cool to get him there tonight. Let's see, where is it? Right here. Let me share this video. That doesn't look right. Let me do this. Stop. Share. Copy. All right. I'm going to drop this in the chat. I'm going to pin it. And anybody who has not had a chance to member or leave a comment yet, this is going to be for the AM8 Miguron. And I just pinned it to the top. And let's see, somebody gifted memberships. Brother Mark did, and Dwayne Letterman was gifted a membership. Jeffrey Dawson was gifted a membership. Nobody Listens to Eric was gifted a membership. Josh Branson and Mike Jernak, all from Mark Parks's kindness. So you guys are now channel members. Absolutely go up to that link and leave a comment. El Cap Addict, it's not a bad knife, dude. And see, what I didn't know, and I still don't know, people told me that's right around the time that Strider was breaking up. Who are we to say that they didn't go to somebody and say, sure, you can make a $79 knife if you give us X% or pay us a bulk sum, because I'm about to get out of it anyway. I just know it was on Amazon and it looked cool. I took it apart. It's built like a tank. I put skiff double row bearings in it. Awesome. But we are going to we're probably just going to do a chat giveaway where it's got to be somebody we know. Tony, that's so subjective. For me, I love and have gotten to experience my first Chris Reed Sebenza, and I loved it. But my first Hinderer was a 3-inch XM18, and this has got the Skinner blade. And I love these knives. To me, and others will tell you differently, seem more hard use, more beefy, whereas a Chris Reeves is more of a gentleman's cutter. Still a worker, but I'm a big fan of Hinderers. I bought this one from Dark Gravity, and I have since picked up like 6 more. And each of them, except for this one, because it's battle black, has titanium scales. And this one's on washers right now. Because the Hinderer, you can run the tri-way system. They come with bearings, with washers, and with nylon washers. El Cap Addict, dude, you do not have to do that. But if you want to throw it in there, I don't want you to have to get caught up in shipping something. You don't got a little hard worker that lives around you that could use it? They could put it to good use. I always joked with Scotch and things. He didn't think it was too funny, but he's always looking to get his team something, and he always buys American, and I understand why. And because they're going to beat the hell out of it anyway. And I was like, dude, you like Striders, you ought to get him one of those effing grows. Those things will last all season, I guarantee you. He was like, hell no, blah, blah, blah. He and Lefty almost ran me out of the community. Their anger and their cruelness about that one knife that, by the way, got more views than almost any other knife I've done. Thank you very much. Just got me so much hate. And I kind of thrive on the hate. I love when I jump into my comments and I find something just really out to lunch. I mean, I rarely respond. I never get into flame wars because I know from being a social media marketer that gets you nowhere. But I do like to give little zingers. And usually somebody else has already gone in there and given a zinger. But some people just are out to do it, right? Some people are just in it for the drama. They're in it to see if they can get a rise out of somebody. What's up, Dang Ross? And what I never got, channel member, make sure you go register, buddy. The link is in there. It's been up for a while. MPC, MBG, EDC, MPC. An NPC. We know what that is. Good to see you, girl. Happy Friday night to you. But yeah, so the way I look at it, and the reason I don't mind passing knives on, and I wish I had something different. I might find something different, but I think this is a cool knife. Y'all vote. Let me know what you think. It does come with blades. It is titanium. It is a frame lock. It does have great detent, drop shut, on bearings. It's a razor knife. But if you have a bug out bag, or if you do unboxings, or if you just like to really cut shit, it's a great knife. And I will throw in a little worry stone from Vosteed that Brother Jim Miller got me. That is really cool. You can play with this on your desk. You can fidget with it. And then the member giveaway is going to be the AM8 Flicks. That for some reason, because my finger's wet, I can't flicks it. It's got a nice mirrored blade, titanium bolster, M390, and good shred carbon fiber with a little Damascus clip. This knife's it's been carried, but it hasn't really cut anything. It hasn't been used. I should have the original box and everything. And whoever wins, if I can get the member to send me an email tonight, I'll get it out tomorrow. And whoever wins the other knife, if you send me an email tonight, I'll get you shipped out tomorrow. That is the plan. I love to get them out the next day. The worst thing is Maddie won last week because Palmer Conley did something kind for someone, and I had Maddie boxed up Friday night. I was leaving at 4:00 Saturday morning to go to Atlanta with Dark Gravity and his son, and I had it right by the door. And I figured about 3:00, 3:30, I'd run it down to the mailbox because nobody would stash it then. I totally left it sitting there. It did not go out till Monday. Maddie, if you're in here now, you know. But it was planned. It was printed. It was ready to go. It was boxed up and gone, but it just didn't go. And hopefully you guys are subscribed to MPG EDC channel. I think she's starting to do Sunday lives. She had a Sunday live last week that was great. El Capac, I agree. I'm wanting to do more of this just so I can try to focus my brain to communicate with you guys. Tony Boombots, and that is okay. I'm exactly the same way. The two things that people don't really appreciate my thoughts on is I don't really get that caught up in HRC. You know, I don't want something that's terrible because I do sharpen my knives, but I don't get real picky about it because I understand that makers have their own reasons for doing what they do. And I don't think it's always about giving the consumer something less than they deserve. I think sometimes they're trying to balance what their knives for and the other properties that they sacrifice when they go for that HRC. And spine whacking. I've just never spine whacked anything. Pizza operator. What is going on, brother? Thank you. It does. MPC EDC, you are welcome anytime. I know she's got a family that goes out there with her. She might be listening, but she's welcome anytime. MPC, you're welcome anytime. I just thought it'd be nice. And sometimes when I do late nights, because there's only such a few people in here, I like going solo because I like trying to chat with people. I like trying to see what people are thinking about, what they're doing, what they're up to, what they're up against. Tom Sheehan is a new member. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Give us a I appreciate you, buddy. Please go register for that giveaway that we're giving away later tonight. I don't think that many people register. Let's see. Let's go look at this. And guys, I almost got a monitor today because I don't want a big one because I don't have room for it on my table. I'm thinking about getting a little like 15-inch laptop extension because I've got to be able to look at a screen while I'm looking at the chat. It's just not, there's no in between. It's just getting old. It's hard to navigate. We're at 65 comments. 65 comments. And the entry is Is that low? See, I know it's supposed to be what, 62 to 64, Paul? And see, I know other metals are they have different heat ratings, and I know that's all for edge retention, I think, and I think they have different scores for toughness and different ones for what's the other variable you've got? Oh, stainlessness. And I think MagnaCut, listening to Dark Gravity talk on the way back, MagnaCut is one that hits all three very well when done right. So I'm not ignoring your question about that particular knife, that razor knife. I'm just pulling it up. JC, so hold tight, buddy. Let me find it because it's got a weird name, but I've got where I bought it. Let's go to titanium. I'll show you how I find it. Share screen, search. I need to go on another Amazon shopping spree. I found some great fixed blades there. Let's go titanium. Razor. That's what I want to go to. It is. She'll have a purchased by it. This one right here. Let's see if that's not going to pull it up. Stop sharing. Let's present again. Share screen. Damn it. Let me get it open. Hold on. That's it. It is a A373 3.73 inch Anhu. It is got a 2.36 inch blade. And what's cool about it is you've got a lot of blade area that you can cut with. A lot of those little utility knives don't. This gives you a full size blade to cut with. You got some scalloping on your handle. Got your little flipper tab there. It's got an extra backup screw. I'll have to find the box. I have no idea where that is. It's got a lock bar insert, so it's not titanium on titanium. I'll tell you guys, I've got a video where I did another Amazon buy, and I sent that bitch back. It had the worst frame lock ever. And see, those are SK5. So when you're looking at replacement blades, it'll come with some blades, but you want them to be SK5s because that has that deeper groove. And that's all you got to do is tighten it down. You're good to go. But there's another knife that is terrible. Let me find it. I mean, it is Lock Stick City. It was so lock stick, I had to use two hands. It's a small knife, and I had to use two hands. I tried it. I thought maybe it'd break in. I didn't get through the review, and I'd already put it in the box and gotten my label printed out. And it's a cool looking knife. It's an expensive knife. It was like $90. Are y'all going with me? Yeah. Where is it? I've also got a little titanium scalpel. Those are cool for your bug out bags. I keep I don't have this one, but I've got one similar to it. I keep some sterile scalpels, different cutting sizes in my bag. This right here. This knife does not have a steel lock bar insert like the other one. It's made very well. It uses a different blade, but it is horrific. Why is it not showing? No lock bar insert. The flipper action's terrible on it. Looks nice, but the lock stick, whoops, the lock stick is just, I mean, look at there's no geometry there. It's 9 degrees. It just locks in there like hot cheese on a hamburger patty. Not a fan. Not a fan. They like the video. I think he has a hard time closing it. Let's see. Thumb studs don't work for shit. Let's see if if he even closes it. I don't think he closes it in this video. I don't think he can get it closed. I think he just opens it. He had to use 2 hands. He had to pry it back apart. But would be a cool knife if it had the right geometry on the flipper tab, or it had better thumb guns, what's up? Or it had better thumb stud placement. But most importantly, Josh, what is happening? It needs a lock bar insert. I mean, this guy has a lock bar insert. You can see it right there. It's got a detent ball. It's got a lock ball insert. You can light switch it. You can push button it. If I got off the frame. Snow Trog. So that's a cool little knife. I'll get that sent out, and then we'll do this one for the members. I don't know why it's not wanting me to middle finger flick it. And I used to always middle finger flick that knife. But this is a full-size knife, guys. It's got great ergonomics. It is very sharp. I got a new coupon book in. I need to sweep. I've got so much paper around here. So this guy, Titanium Justin, a member for 1 month. Thank you, brother. This thing's laser beam. Whoops. And it doesn't have super thin blade geometry, but it's just from the factory, done so well. I haven't put it through a lot, but I mean, it is just a 3.5-inch powerhouse. I've got paper all around me, but it's got a real nice controlled drop. Really good detent. And when my finger's not wet, it still doesn't sound like a gong demon knock. Stephen Clayton Jr., what is up, brother? My ex calls me and gets voicemail. I don't talk to her. I figured that was bad for my mental health and for my sobriety. I dealt with that for 20 years. Wish her the best. There's nothing I can help her with at this point. And there's surely the fuck nothing she can help me with at this point. Crazy Roach. I do that all the time, man. I took a couple little power naps on the couch today. Nothing long term, but I mean, I'll have days where I'll sleep like 9 or 10 hours, and then I won't sleep. And I'm not bipolar, so I don't go paint the house 3 times a month. It's nothing like that. It's just that at night, yeah, Mersal, exes can be bad for sobriety. I joked with my ex, but I wasn't joking. It was in therapy. Because she was surprised I got sober, and I was like, had I been sober when you convinced me to marry you, because she proposed to me, I just wasn't very outgoing. I thought it was time. It was weird. I said yes. But I would have never married her had I been sober, but I wouldn't have the beautiful daughter I have now. So it all happens for a reason, right? Everything bad or unfortunate, we had good times too, but anything that you go through, hopefully you either learn from it or it hurts so bad you're like, I'm not gonna do that shit again. Stuff like that. So you got to take those, what a lot of people, me included when I was going through it, considered it a setback. But the reality tells me, Crazy Roach, we hadn't done that one yet. We're going to do it in the chat. We haven't done either one yet, but we're going to do it here in a little bit. Crazy, you did win the F. I think you won an F2 or an F3 like this. I did see it. Let me pull it up. And I've not, that's probably, and that's just a me thing because we're all different. And I've got a rock wall, but Tactile is probably my least favorite US maker because I always seem to get their stuff early and it's not ready. For prime time, I always go through having to send it back and get adjustments made and it never being right, blah, 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 blah. So I've just kind of given up on them, even though they do some cool stuff. Is it the Osprey, did you say? What'd you call that rascal? Yes, the Osprey. Here it is. It looks big. How big is it? 8.3 inches. See, that's a great camp size knife or even an EDC knife. I'm a 7, kind of a 7 and under guy. And I'm kind of interested in this. And I like the fact that they worked with snacks, but to me, it looks too much like my Vision FG and my Vision R. This knife was not impressed with it at all. I thought it was too sharp around the hand. I thought it was too thin. That was just me. A lot of people love it. I did love this knife that my buddy A to Z EDC let me borrow, but I had an early Maverick that I sent back because I hated it. I love my rock wall. The Dread Eye was cool, but it's just too thick. The blade sucks on it, in my opinion. This one I almost bought a couple of times. But Tactile's doing things right. I mean, I have no hate for them. The Osprey looks really cool, and I think there's nothing wrong with liking big knives. I mean, I've got this Outer Limit Accomplice is probably one of the biggest that I carry, and it is it's right at 8 inches. But again, that's a knife compared to my Raider that I carry much more. Has the same basic blade shape and cutting geometry, but it's just a smaller knife. And I'm the type that goes crazy small, like on the little TKL Piranha, because it takes up no room in my pocket, and I can use it for my spine whacking, for my everyday cuts. Big Idea Designs Fixed Blade. I don't know if I've even seen that one. Let me go see, because I'm actually. Let me check that out. I support Big Idea Design because they got in a fight with Lefty and fired him for talking shit about their products, which really, in all truth, that makes me not give them love. I don't think that's cool. I think people should be able to review knives. I think it's always good to reach out to a maker if you've got a problem with it. And if I ever get anything that's a goat, which I've never gotten anything that's a goat. Oh yeah, I have seen that. $200, 6.2 inches, perfect size for me. M390. Who's the OEM? Didn't say. Yeah, I like that. I like the size. It reminds me of my it looks like it filled the same space as my Scout, my little, Griffin Company Scout, which is a great knife. I bought the Scout and the little tiny Scout Medic. And then they came out with the Scout 3, which is the folder, and they just came out with another one. It's a great knife. Um, that's true, Jim Miller. And there are different ways to deal with the truth, right? I think, and I think you guys all see it. And I don't even have specific names when I think of them, but some people, Erica, like a negative review because it gets them a lot of views. I, on the other hand, would reach out to whoever sent me said knife and say, hey, man, this one's got, and Metal Complex did it twice and then threw them under the bus. And I could see that if they never get it right, you tell them, they send you another one that has the same problem. You don't want people buying that knife. The Serbius Riot Crewware's Best is awesome. I'm a Jacob Creates Chickadee guy, but I really like that knife. I just haven't been able to grab one when I had the cash and justify it because they're like $275 too, right? Jim, I'm with you. Most of the blades I carry, I like a 5-inch, ideally 5.5, because I don't carry them as primary carries. I've got several blades. This is a little slicer. This little Marlboro Handcraft little prick. But I love my Chickadees. I've got one in 20 CV. And when you take the scales off these, because I've done scale replacements on them, they've got Jacob's Maker's Mark, and they've got the blade steel in the handle. So I've got a 20 CV one, a Max Magna Cut, and a S90V full flat. The Magna Cut has Kyle Coonley, his sick edge on it. This thing is screaming sharp. I carry these. I've got Oak City slips for them, but I carry these right at my belt buckle, right to the right of it, appendix style, because they don't print, they don't poke out, they're tiny. And then the S90V, I got from Brother Honey Bear. What's up, Kyle Coonley? I was just showing off your edge. I got this from Honey Bear a while back. He made me a great deal on it, but it's an older version. It's a full flat grind. I put the micarta handles on it, but it's S90V. But they're great little knives. I just love them. JC, that's the next part, and it's going to be the hardest part of my collection dive. Is I've got a case. It's called a Blade HQ hanging case or whatever, tool roll, but it's the one for knife addicts that hangs on the back of your door. It has like 146 slots in it. It's full of knives. I've got knives all around me here, so I've got to find a way to break them out. This is one of my favorite fixed blade makers. He makes this Apprentice, Tyler Denny. This is a Gen 1. The plunge grind's a little closer, and it has pinned scales. These are vintage caramel micarta. He now makes a Gen 2, And the one I picked up is in crew wear, and it now has screw-on scales, and you can see he moved the plunge grind way back, so you get a lot more sharpenings. I don't think it needed it, but this knife is so comfortable in the hand, so minimalistic. You've got that harpoon. It is an absolute laser beam, and it's a Slurpee saver. I mean, it's something that to me looks like a dart that you could jab into somebody and leave it with them. But just a cool design. He's a small maker. I found him on Instagram, and he'll do drops. They sell out real quick. What I do, and what I urge any of you guys to do, is how I did it with Asher for years when I was buying his knives. Let Instagram be your friend. Reach out to these guys by DM. Let them know you're interested in one of their knives, and just ask them, if you would, give me a heads up before you drop them. I'd love a chance to get one of your knives. And what Tyler did is he sent me a couple of knives in their raw form, and he said, hey man, I'm working on crew wear and S35VN this time. I've got 2 of each. I said, dude, I want one of the crew wear ones, but I don't want you to reserve it for me. I want it. I'll pay for it now if you want me to. He didn't want me to. I said, but I definitely want it. I wear Brashear Bear, large, men's large, and I've got some really big buddies who say I have a very big hand, but I don't have sausage fingers. So if I were to measure it across here, my hand is 3.5 inches right there. But my fingers are a little bit less than 1/2 inch, except on my knuckles. So where my buddy A to Z EDC, who has the same length fingers as me, doesn't feel as comfortable with some of the smaller knives that I like, except for the Oz Roosevelt. He loves it. Some of the knives that he finds cramped, I find just fine, especially finger choils. Finger choils make him more nervous than they do me, because I've always got plenty of room, it seems like, to get up there without feeling like I'm going to cut myself. What is up, Rob's Nerdy Knives? I got to meet Rob briefly in Atlanta. I think we were all running like crazy. I'm probably the only content creator who did not film. I did one short, but I always feel bad trying to film people when they're working. And I'm always too squirrel brained. I've got my mind on too many different things. I tried the first year to shoot like a booth, and it just didn't work out. I'd forget so many booths. There was no way to make a video with 1.5 booths. So I just learned it was best to hang with people, try to get in as many still pictures, which I didn't get a lot of still pictures this year. I think Tony Boombots and I were the only ones. MPG, EDC, if there's any way I can, and I hope to be in a different life situation then, I would love to come to Blade Show West. It's definitely on my bucket list. It's somewhere I want to go. It's somewhere I need to go, and I want to check it out because I like the more intimate shows. And if I'm going to keep trying to make content, there are only so many knives I can buy. And I'm not looking for, because we were all talking in a group today, an email came out. I won't read it to y'all, but it was a company I've never heard of. It was looking for people to review their knives. I looked at their knives, and they looked similar to other knives. They didn't look like ripoffs, but they didn't look like anything special. They didn't look like anything that would make me go, I want that, even if I was on Amazon, because I'll buy inexpensive knives. One of my best knives ever was the Miguron Moyarl. But I just ignored it because I only want to create relationships, i.e., me go out and meet them and say, hey, I like your product. Here's some videos I've made on knives that I bought of yours. I would love to work with you and review your knives. I don't mind sending them back to you. Usually I could turn a knife around in 7 days because I don't go hard use it. I don't take somebody else's knife and go beat the shit out of it. I see how it makes me feel. I see how it feels in hand. I see how it comes together, the materials, the workmanship, how it cuts paper. If I feel a hot spot, again, there are people like Stasa that I rely on, Knees. There are a lot of people that do. Mikey Daily Carey, what is up, brother? There are a lot of people that do harder use tests, right? And the bottom line is somebody like me might see a hard use test that doesn't go so well, but I might like the knife because of the way it looks, the way it carries, the way it makes me feel, and not be swayed by the fact that it's not the best cutter in the world. Because, yeah, knives are meant to cut, but a lot of the time we're just carrying them, admiring them, being weird with them. At least I am. I think I have a weird relationship with sharp shit. And when I was a kid, I was more a utilitarian knife user. But ever since I started playing this game, not the content creator game, that's new, but being in a knife community, meeting people, going to live streams, chatting up with people, listening to people's opinions, learning from those opinions, disagreeing with some of those opinions, but still learning. There's just a lot to be gained from it. And if you've got a big group of people that all like different things, the way I look at it is I, as part of that group of people, am more likely to be exposed to something that I would not have on my own gone and sought out. Atlanta for us is probably, Nashville is the closest show, and Nashville is one, or Blade Makers Syndicate. Nashville's a very, very small show that gets very, very good talent at very, very small tables. It's in a ballroom of a hotel or a conference hall. It's not even a ballroom. It's maybe 2 rows of tables on one end of the wall and then a row of tables in the middle. So you might have 4 rows to walk up, and you see Andrew Demko, you see Brian Brown, you see Israel Bacchus, you see and talk to Greg Medford, you see and talk to, who I didn't see this year, Doug Ritter. You just see a lot of people, and you see them in a very small place. They sell out pretty quickly. And there's some that'll be there for a while, but it's just a small show. So to me, those are quaint. And I think Blade Show West is probably the perfect mix of chaos and what I need in terms of people. What Kyle Coonley said is so true. Do not buy knives for the fear of missing out. I did that some, and it's part of it, but don't buy knives because someone else tells you they suck or they're good, because chances are you like something different. Take chances on yourself, getting the information you can from videos, their sizes, their stuff like that. But yeah, buy only what you like and what you think is worth the money that you're going to trade for it. You're going to give up income for said knife. Rob, tell me more. I know he's got a very, very strict mod group over there. Did he like the Narrows? I did not watch his video. I saw the thumbnail today, but I just thought I'd throw up in my mouth if he sang its praises. And I've not tried it, so that's just me being a hater. Not of him, but of the knife. of the company as a whole, really. But Mayor Salt, but we need the voice of reason. I'm telling you, I had dark gravity would just wear me out. Good point. I don't think he has moderators, but I don't know. I'm only over there, but I didn't see him tonight. Was he live tonight? I looked for him because I usually will sit over there and lurk before I come over here. All right, what did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? Yeah, it does feel wrong. But guys, even if you're not there yet, even if you're at the place where you wake up to confirmation emails that you don't remember ordering, that's normal. When you go through this hobby, at least when I went through this hobby, or as I go through this hobby, I have 180'd more times like a top. I should be so dizzy. Again, budget knives, Kaiser all the way. I mean, Kaiser has no idea how loyal I was to them when I started. I didn't have a channel, so I wasn't shouting their stuff out, but I love their knives, and I've given away probably well over 100. The VV, and then I got my first Benchmade. I think I told you guys my first Grail was a 940. Saved up for it. Own less, owns better. Jeffrey Dawson is exactly right. Oh, he hates it. Did you like it? See, to me, it's not the knife, the totally worthless liner scales of a knife that don't look comfortable. And I know it's got a different lock, but I just don't see the value of it. I mean, that thing is within $100 of a Rosie. Maybe not now. Maybe they've gone down some. But I look at again, I don't have money now, so I'm not talking about real money. But if I've got this pile of money and I can go buy these 3 things, this 2 things, this 1 thing, there are a lot of different variables that are going to factor into that decision. What do I need? What do I want? What have I been looking at? Palmer, you can always get a putter. And if I know you, I think it's called a white label. You're a golfer and you've got a fine putter and you're playing the game I played about 15 years ago, where I felt like I was pretty good. I could always play scrambles very well. I did a lot of stuff work-wise, competition, and I always thought if I just bought that putter, my short game would be taken care of. I got a white hot. That's the one I use. I'm sure you're looking at a nicer one, but I've got a white hot putter and it doesn't have that bend on it. But I kept thinking, yeah, that'll do it for me, right? I think mine is that one. It's not that one. Not that one. Not that one. It's not the double wide. It's not the 2 ball, which that's a good one to line up. I mean, that's a good putter to line 3 balls up, but it's really heavy. I think that's the one I've got, but it had a different neck. What? Yeah, I want to say it had the straight shaft. But anyway, putters are not going to make you, I don't think, read the green better or control your towards. I think you're better off buying a knife. Tony, I love one of the first Benchmades I got, and I had the chance of meeting his grandson outside at Blade Show. But a Mel Pardue mini Griptilian. It's the only Griptilian I own. And I don't have them in this case, But soon thereafter, I learned about Off Metal Complex's videos, off his comparison knife. I learned about the Ritter Hogue RSK MK2 or whatever they call it. And that knife has better G10. It's got better gripping. It comes with 20 CV, which this one does, but this is an upgrade. It has much stronger springs. It has a thicker liner system. I think it has better blade geometry, and it costs about $160. So I have two full-size Ritter Hogues and one mini, and I just have this one mini here. And it's not the butterfly tax. It's nothing against best Benchmade. It's just for me, value, what I feel like I'm getting in value, which I don't buy either of those knives anymore. But what I would think in value looking at the two, to me, there's no comparison. You can hold a G10 grip tool in your hand, and you can hold a full size RK and whatever it's called in your hand, and they feel different. The jimping in the G10 is so much more aggressive, but it's not too aggressive. Palmer, I agree. You could maybe say 300, but I wouldn't pay 300 for it. And have I not been in chats? Dude, I've been playing catch up on content. I know, Kyle Coonley. I'm not a good golfer, dude. I take 12 balls with me. I keep in mind, I've only played once in over 8 years sober. I used to play as a raging Bloody Mary before I started. The beer girl would kind of pace us through 9, and then it would just get crazy. And I had the best swing oil from hole 2 to 9. I was awesome. My short game always sucked, but I was just great short in terms of approaches. I was great driving. I was great hitting my long irons. I just couldn't putt. Never could. And no putter in the world was going to control my terrible mechanics. But I never took lessons. I never took lessons playing guitar. I never took lessons on a computer. I've taught myself a lot, taking classes that are free online and stuff. But I don't. Faction, what is up, brother? Am I that far behind? Surely not. I'm going to go all the way up here to the front. Y'all, Maddie is live tonight, I believe. Let me see. Where's old brother Faction? I'll never know if it's on him or Steven, so I always just go said faction. It pulls it up. And YouTube search sucks, but it is coming on tonight at, I don't do military time, but I think that's 12:10. I could be wrong. Y'all give me 2 seconds. I'm going to mute it. My dad just called back again, and he's probably just checking his medicine because he's dementiated. But give me 2 seconds. I'm going to. Sorry about that, kids. It's actually kind of comical in its own way. It's tragic, but it's really not because I was a psychology major. And back when, and I don't want to date myself, but when we were talking about dementia, I don't think it had the name Alzheimer's yet. But a lot of the philosophical liberal arts professors that I was indoctrinated by, um, it says 0010, which I assume that's 1210 because doesn't midnight AM start at 0 and then 12 is noon? I don't know. I always confuse it. But when you see, my dad and I had no relationship growing up. We did when we were kids, like he'd take me hunting and stuff. But once I became experienced when I was about 14 and took a walk on the wild side, opened the doors of perception. I no longer wanted to kill animals with them anymore. Um, and I was also discovering girls. So we kind of didn't really see eye to eye. And he was also kind of an asshole. He always was. I mean, he's a pedantic attorney who always won, who always asked me why I was so defensive because he was trying to bust me for smoking dope. And I was always saying, Dad, I'm always defensive because you treat me like a fucking defendant. I mean, you always put me on the defense. You don't just say, hey, let's talk about this. Long story short, fast forward 50 years and he's dealing with major dementia. My little brother's got power of attorney over him. We still let him live at home. We've taken his car. He thinks the people that are replacing the battery stole it. Somebody convinced him to wire him $30,000, a scammer, and they were going to bring him a car. And we were able to stop that transaction out of his investment account, turned off his phone. But every night he calls me. I usually call him, but he forgets to turn his phone up. And he's like, he's got this little thing that looks like a flying saucer that holds 14 days worth of pills. It has a morning dose and a night dose. At 8:30 in the morning, it beeps like a flying saucer. You open the little door, you dump the shit out, you eat your 8 pills in the morning, you're done. It then tells you what time it is. It's after 8:30 because that's when the alarm was. And it tells you under that at 6 p.m. it's going to go off again. And I know because I can remember he gets 4 pills at 6. I have to call him and remind him. And he's like, oh, it's been beeping now for 5 minutes, but I think they're still putting pills in there because he's a pedantic. He wants to be in control of everything. I'm like, Dad, all you're letting it do is run down the batteries, which means you'll call me in a week and say, I don't have any pills and I'll have to make a flying trip over there, go get batteries, fix it, do all that bullshit. When it beeps, that means it's ready. It's like an alarm clock. And he'll just stare at me. He doesn't get it. And I used to tell him, don't answer the phone if you don't see a name, because he still has a cell phone, which most of the time he keeps his volume all the way down. But it's just like, Dad, if you don't recognize the number, don't answer it. You call maybe 4 people, maybe 5. Oh no, but I might have somebody that needs something. Dad, 80% of those people are scammers. And it's just a matter of him. He was always so skeptical, and he didn't trust anybody. And now he's just a freaking idiot. I don't get it. He's like a kid. And he was saying today, well, I really need to get my car back. I was like, Dad, if you get your car back, it's only to sell it, which I think my brother's already done. But we took you 3 years after you got out of the hospital for annual psychological testings. And we were both mortified that you passed it the first year because we've always known you were a rolling liability. The second year, he failed it miserably. So, I just have to tell him, Dad, you can't drive anymore. And he's like, oh, I sure can't just stay around here. I'm like, well, you can borrow one of my skateboards if you want. Because I'm at the point now where it's just kind of getting very, very old. But he means well. And what's funny is now that he's so old and appreciative, all the resentment, and this is maybe God working through me or Buddha or whoever, but I've always assumed that he would pass and I would have horrible memories of him because I've got a lot of childhood trauma from him. Not on his fault. His dad was probably an asshole too, but he was not a good dad, in my opinion. And maybe I wasn't a good dad to my kid. I overcorrected and was too kind to her. But now he's just so meek and so mild. I'm thinking, why am I being subjected to this? Paul, I know I'm gonna miss him. I know I'm gonna miss my mom. My mom and my dad divorced. And that's another funny thing. My dad asked where my mom is because I think he forgets he left her for a girl that was a month younger than me, who, when I was drinking, off subject, we had dinner with them once, my ex-wife, my dad, and Carla, his girlfriend, who was a month younger than me. And we were drinking wine, and she thought it would be wise at this big dining room table to start giving me life advice about what I should do, what I might want to think about doing. And I'm not even going to repeat here because I know I'll get demonetized for tonight's stream. But I told her in no certain terms that just because I'm not willing to do something to a 60-year-old man to buy my BMW does not mean she's anyone that's qualified to give me advice. My ex-wife's mouth dropped open. My dad's mouth dropped open. Her mouth dropped open. I was an angry drunk, and I was just getting ready to let go on her, but I could tell she was about to cry. So he and I have had a lot of bumps along the way, and maybe this is just a way for karma and the gravity world, the whole 9 yards, to bring us back together where we have some kind of understanding. And that's the whole point, Palmer, that I was talking about before I got sidetracked. When I was in college studying it, and they call it dementia at the time. I don't think Alzheimer's had a diagnosis yet, but they were talking about how the population back when I was in college was projected to continue to live a lot longer, right? So there were going to be a lot of older people that might have more problems like that. Um, but if you look at it from the patient's point of view, the person that's dealing with it, my dad, sometimes he's in the 80s, sometimes he's in the 90s. He never seems to be in a bad place yet. I think it's just his mind or nature's way of letting your mind go places you normally wouldn't go if you were altogether sane. Um, it's one of those really weird things. And what's the worst about it, I think, is if you've got family, if you're a dad that was shitty to your kids, but your kids still take care of you. He has a lady that comes by twice a day for a couple of hours, but I basically take care of him. I live, and he's mobile. He can get around. We go to the store together. I take him down there every other day so he can get grapes and weird shit he gets. But I'm mainly his driver. She works with him from 10 to 12 or 1 and takes him. The funny thing is, takes him to see his girlfriend who just recently moved from across the street from my dad to one of the nicest retirement homes in Huntsville. We've got him a reservation there. As soon as he'll agree to go, he could live right next to his girlfriend, who I'm not even going to go there. But my dad is more active than I am, and he doesn't know what fucking day or year it is. It's just crazy. But I can't get him to move out there. So one of the things that I'm thinking about doing, and my brother and I are talking about it, but A, I don't know how much they're going to have to pay me to do it. And B, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But I've thought about when this lease is up, moving in. He's got a huge house. I could put a studio upstairs. I've got a bedroom, but I'd be in the same oxygen box as he is. And I could look out for him. I could keep him from trying to cook something or falling down the stairs or something like that, right? But again, even though it's only a couple months off, I can't mentally wrap my head around how I would make that work.
I mean, again, it's a nice house. It's a huge house. Oh, I'm so sorry, MPG, EDC. The blessing is there. Hopefully, she didn't linger like my grandmother did, my mom's mom. My mom, my only baby, little Will, baby, it was going to be John Wilson Evans, which is my name. We were going to call it Will. It was my wife, ex-wife, had a high-risk pregnancy. So we had 3 or 4 ultrasounds, and it was going to be a boy. We were told it was a boy. I heard Kevin talking about that last night, and I didn't even want to put it in the chat. But I've got the ultrasounds, and I'm convinced that it wasn't a penis that was in the ultrasound. She had her hand behind her butt giving me the bird because she knew I could not have survived for 9 months thinking I was going to be the parent of a daughter. Because at the time, before you're a parent, you get to a point longer through the pregnancy where you just want a healthy baby. But you play through all these long-term scenarios where there's no way I can be an effective parent to a daughter because I didn't have any girls in my family, and I'm so possessive over girls. I'm so protective. I can't imagine when she dates. And then after 2 days of labor, anatomically correct, baby girl Evans was born. She was baby girl Evans for 2 days because we never looked in that side of the book. And my ex, all she could say about it is, we've got all these little boy clothes. What are we going to do? I was like, they're baby clothes. She can wear heel figures. What's it matter? I'll go get her a dress to get her picture made in. No big deal. But knowing what I know now, I would not trade 3 little boys for her. She is absolutely amazing. She's smart. She's sweet. But I would have never, ever thought I could have, MPG, that's tough. It's tough to watch. I know it's tough for her. I know the human body, from what I've heard from people who've since passed, somehow, and I don't think it's hospice because these stories have happened before hospice became involved. But I can remember my grandmother after I took my mom was in Cocoa Beach, Florida when my son/daughter was born. So she wasn't there. About 3 months, when she was 3 months old, my grandmother was getting real sick. My mom said she was in the hospital. She wasn't getting out of bed. We flew down there with Brittany, my ex and I, so she could meet her great grandmother. And that day that we went in the hospital, my grandmother was sitting up in bed. She was smiling like she was 40 years ago. She had real bad internal cancer. I can't remember what kind it was. Real bad cancer. But anyway, that day she had all of her energy. She held Brittany. She laughed with her. She kissed her. After we left that night, my mom said she laid down and never got up again. I mean, she was conscious where they talked to her, and then she passed about a week later. But something in the universe, God, kept her. She waited to meet her great grandbaby because she loved little girls. We didn't have little girls in my family, and she was just absolutely tickled. Todd Carr, amen. And we're all guilty about it. I know I'm guilty of it. You're supposed to live in the moment and make the best of it. You don't look forward to tomorrow. You don't think, oh, tomorrow's going to be better. You pick your ass up and do the very best you can today and hope that you can do a better job tomorrow. I preach that much more than I practice it. But I think if you talk to anyone who is quote unquote living a fulfilling life, it's the only way to do it. You've got to express gratitude. You've got to express humility. I think empathy is a big part of it. I think if you are empathetic and you don't have to be giving people all your money, but if you're exhibiting acts of kindness to people who might not ever be getting any light shined on them during the day, and you can just make a little difference in somebody's life, even if it just makes them smile for that minute, you never know what that's going to do. And to me, and I've always been a pushover, but I'm non-confrontational, so it's much easier for me. I greet everybody, even when I'm early in the morning and I'm in a miserable mood. I'm always like, "Good morning, how are you?" Blah blah blah. Always try to be friendly, right? Always want to be friendly. Always want to try to make a positive impact. I don't always do it. And during the day, when I get in like work mode, I burn down so much shit because I have to. Sometimes you got to burn shit down to make it better. But when I'm in a restaurant with a waiter, when I'm in an Uber, when I'm on an airplane, I'm not the asshole who's taking up space. I'm wanting everybody to have the smoothest trip possible. I believe that all rising tides lift all boats. I love seeing everybody get success. I try to help people. If they ask, if I have an answer for why they could maybe get better success, I'm the wrong person to ask for any of those. But I think that hanging on to positives, not being delusional, but realizing that with every shitty thing that comes your way, you learn from it. You don't want to repeat your gullibility, but you're getting wiser. I don't think you should ever get jaded. I think you should continue to trust, but I think you should trust but verify. I always said, I'm not at all racist. I hate everyone equally until they prove themselves otherwise. And that's just a joke. But in a way, it's kind of true. I mean, if you go into it like I always did, that everybody's good. Everybody wants the same thing out of life I do. Everybody wants a fair shake. Everybody wants this and that. You learn real quick, especially if you've been in business all your life, that is not the way it works. Now, I will never sell my morals for business. I will never do things that I can't sleep good at night because I feel like I pulled the wool over somebody's eyes. But there's a lot to be said for standing up for what you believe in, even if it's against popular opinion, even if it's against a workplace environment that's toxic. I think people will respect you, even if they fire you, even if they can't stand you for the time. If you tell them, I do not agree with your saying, and at this point, I bid you fuck off, and you walk out, there's a lot of guts in that. You've got to have a plan. And for me, the plan is I'm going here. I just made a statement. And the only way I'm going to put an exclamation point on this statement is to work for a competitor and kick their fucking ass. And I do it ethically with strategies and knowledge that I've acquired over the years that helps me identify audiences and campaigns that help people do what they do in advertising. It's kind of weak, but it's not, it's honest. I'm not stealing from people. And I've had several cathartic experiences where I felt like the morality lines were close to being crossed, and I was able to leave without notice with a fuck you. And in some cases, I didn't say fuck you. I was just like, I do not play that way. I'm not interested. I will catch up with you later. If you have anything you want to say to me, reach out to my attorney, even though I didn't have an attorney at the time. Just leaving people with the thought of what would have made John, who has always been the corporate guy, storm out of here pissed. And is that going to bring any shit on us? And I've never gone after anybody. I should have gone after my last employer, but I never did. And I never think it's worth it. I think that just helps you hold on to resentment, which if we go back to the first thing we were talking about, which is the only way to truly try to find some semblance of joy and happiness is to live for each day and try to make the best of each day and not think it's going to be better tomorrow or God, it was great in the 90s or I want to live in the 80s again or I want to live in the 2000s. There's no time better than right now. for any of us sitting here, regardless of what level of repair or disrepair we're in, we're here. It's the present. I hope it's better tomorrow. I do that every night. I pray for it. And I'm not religious, I'm just spiritual. But the bottom line is, I'm guilty, or as guilty as anyone, of not seizing the day, of not making the best out of my conscious hours. Now, when I'm talking to myself, making videos or doing things that are worthless because my brain's not having to work too hard in terms of thinking about real life stuff, I'm probably at my most peaceful. And that's not good. I need a therapist. I need another therapist. I've got a therapist and a psychiatrist. But the things I know I need to work on. I'm not delusional. But I also know it's a balancing act of how much time do you get getting somebody to try to guess what's going to make you better, or just sucking it up and learning from what you find's not working to try to adjust based on what's happening. Paul, my therapist has a therapist, and I'm not even going to get into that, but I've got the funniest. The circle comes full circle. The therapist that I ended up getting recommended to was an older gentleman. It turns out I had history with said therapist through an old acquaintance that I quit seeing when I went to college, who was a couple years younger than me, who went to this therapist that I saw 30 years later. And two of the ladies in the office that were social butterflies overheard one of the sessions and overheard some of the things that I was allegedly doing at Auburn that was, in this person's mind, the reason I had become distant. It wasn't the fact that I'd gone to college and I was in a different world now and my life was changing. It was all this other thing. And then a week later, I got a call from my parents that wanted me to come home for the weekend. I did. And they drug tested me out of the blue. Just a random test. Sure. And my mom was real nervous because at the time it was like $12 a sample. She goes, "We don't know what to test you for." I said, "Don't test me for weed. You're wasting your money. Don't test me for alcohol. You're wasting your money. I'm drinking a beer now. If you're worried about me doing what you say you're worrying about me doing, which was stimulants, X, stuff like that, test me for that. Save your money." And they would never tell me what made them. They always knew I was kind of a happy-go-lucky guy. I did things that weren't always right, but I was never crazy. And it turns out when I was in my 30s, my mom told me that what happened is these ladies that a lot of people knew in the community heard it in a very private therapy session, knew the names, and started talking about it, which to me is criminal. And that's why they have laws against it now. I saw Dr. Drew Dude Ed last night in Lefties, I think, and everybody's good, I believe. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think everybody, if you've ever had a drink, if you've ever had anything go on, the big book might be a little to read, but the 12 and 12 principles and 12 steps, everyone could gain so much peace in their life from going through the program. And I'm not talking about stopping drinking. I'm talking about going through the steps, acknowledging the steps, whether you insert a different issue here or there, and then making lists, making amends. It's amazing what we carry around with us and we're not even aware of. And a lot of things will keep us down because, believe it or not, when you're young, when you're a teenager, when you're impressionable, Our natural, I think, my natural defense mechanism is to block things out of my mind. If it's traumatic, I'm not going to think about it. But that doesn't mean it doesn't go away. It means it gets locked away and different things trigger it at different times. And you might not even know where it comes from, right? So I'm not big into therapists because I was a psychology major. I have 2 majors in psychology, and psychologists can be really, really good, or they can lead you down really fucked up paths. They can suggestively put really fucked up agenda driven things in your mind that could ruin your life because who knows what lobby is trying to influence them to move a needle in one way or another. Some therapists that listen, that have had a lot of experience, that are there for the patients, they're there to try to help people make sense out of a chaotic life, can do a lot of good. But if your therapist talks more than they listen, don't pay them and leave. But I hate I missed you, brother. We tried, and I know it's hard to hear your phone in there, and I should have called you earlier, but like I said, we got there so early Saturday, hit the ground running, sat down and got something to eat around lunch. Couldn't believe it was already lunchtime because we were an hour later when we got there. And it just, the time got away from us. But my understanding is Dr. Drew Dude and the group is doing well. Guys, I think what I'm going to do while everybody's in here, because it is getting a little late, and you know what I have to do, Mexican pizza. I want all the channel members, even if you've won before, even if you're not interested in it, you can sell it or give it to somebody else. Leave a comment. I'm going to come up with a hashtag to put in the chat. Now, if you come up and you're a stranger, no multiple accounts. I shouldn't have to say that, but there is a lot going on right now with several groups of people that have been, shall we say, caught, but and there's a couple of they'll find out soon as things don't come out, but it's just there's no need for it, right? We're all friends here. We are all looking out for each other. Should be happy when somebody else wins. And you'll all, if you keep coming back, I'm sure everybody will win. I'm not getting a lot of repeat winners, which is kind of good because I want the knives to get spread around. But hopefully I'll get to up the ante of, all right, let's do this. Choose live stream. The keyword is going to be, it's going to be a long one, guys. No caps, but there is a hashtag. So check your spelling because my spelling could be wrong, but my spelling is final. And this is what y'all need to put in the chat. NPC EDC, throw that in the chat real quick. I'm only going to let this run because that's another one of the things that slows it down. I'm only letting this go for 5 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to set a timer for 4 minutes now because it's taking me longer. So y'all all go leave. All right. Timer's going. I'm going to let it go for, I'm going to say 4 minutes. I'll give you all a couple of minute notice before I pull. We are rolling up. We're at like 17 people. I'm checking to make sure everybody's spelling it right. And the member giveaway we'll do right after that. And you guys do not have to be here to win that. Night, Meredith. Thank you for stopping by, hon. Autumn got in. Ed got in. We still got about 3.5 minutes. So drop your turd burglars in. We're at 33. We've got 60 something in here. I love seeing you guys playing for other people. And when I pull your name, because it's not going to have the comment, just remind me of who needs to send me an email, because I'll mail it out. Palmer did something kind for Maddie last week. He's turning into just a young man, a fine young man. Jay Corsicotton's in. We've got our time's ticking away. Alex got in. Michael Upchurch got in. Kyle Coonley got in for LCAP. LCAP is doing a lot. MPG EDC has got to pass. She is one human that if she wins and is not present, she was present for the drawing. So if it's okay with y'all, if she comes up a winner, I'm going to let her stick because she's been. All right, we are at 1 more minute, guys. Y'all drop your no turd burglar in there. I'm about to pull this biatch in 45 seconds. So throw me a thumbs down if y'all hadn't had time to register yet or put in the word. I think we're good. I think we're down to about 25 seconds. Good luck, everybody. What I'm going to do, Jason Rogers got in. All right. Now remember, when we draw this, it's got to be someone who's been chatting or who we know, or keep coming back because you'll win again. All right, guys. I'm stopping the stopwatch. Good luck, everybody. Double detent. The man, the myth, and my buddy. Congratulations, Double detent. And we're going to do the member giveaway here in a second. So all y'all go leave a comment. And I'm going to put my Gmail and I'm going to write this down because I will forget who won. And I'll mail it out tomorrow, Double D10. If you can get me an address tonight. If not, I'll get it out Monday. It's up to you. .com. Shoot me an email here, buddy, and congratulations. Now, has everyone had a chance to go up to the link? Is our link still the right link? Let me check. Clicking on it. Yes, it is. So go. You've got 2 minutes to leave a comment because then I've got to make it a different setting. You're welcome, Double D10. Thank you for always being here, buddy. And thank you for supporting. And make sure you're registered for the Mid Year On 2. I'd love to ship 2 packages to one person because it is all luck. So, guys, what you need to do, if you don't mind, is make sure you register real quick. Let me get my pen. I've evidently, no, it's right here. Because the member giveaway is coming up and it's a banger. So we got Friday. Nice. Flex. 78, double detent. Titanium. Nice. And I'll throw you some swag in there too. Tony, get in there and absolutely register, because I don't think we have a lot of people registered, and I'm going to shut it down in about 55 seconds. And I'm going to have to do it behind the scenes. So I'm jumping out of chat. You guys go to the link and register while you can, because it's getting ready to, unfortunately, disappear. Let's do this. Let's go over here to this. And let's go back here. Let's go to here. Let's go here. I'm talking to myself. I'm sorry, guys. And now I need to go to videos. I need to find that video. Filter by viewability. Membership. Apply. All right. So this is for the Miguron AM8 Flex. So I'm now going to make this. Where's my visibility? Let's do it to, I think I can go like that. Done. Save. Now let me try something. This may or may not work. All right, guys. No more entries. It's getting ready to happen. Let's see. Get shareable link. Copied. Let's go to YouTube. And I might have to change the setting of this again. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Let's go to, drop that in there. Filter duplicate users. Numbers of winners 1. We're going to do 30. We're going to do 7. We're going to get YouTube comments. There are 52 comments that are unique. Tom, did you get a comment in? Let me see if, how long ago did you leave it? Because I might need to set it back to private. All right, let me do this. I'm going to go back. I'm going to set it to members. And Tom, go back and make sure you're able to leave a comment. Bear with me. I've got to change this. You know what it might do? No, it won't. All right, it is members. Done. Save. I'm going to put another link in there. And go see if you can leave a link or leave a comment. And hopefully you can see your comment. All right, you're in. All right, guys. We are getting ready to refresh one more time. And it's not going to give me any because I've got to go back and set it. All right, let's do this. Let's go back to this. Set it to unlisted. That's not right. I need to go here. And I need to go here. There. It's done. Save. All right, guys. I'm getting ready to share the screen and we're getting ready to roll. All right, let's go to YouTube. Let's go up here and drop the link. Paste. Let's go 8. Let's get comments. All right, guys. We got 52 comments still. So get ready. This is going to be for the Miguron Flicks. Must be 18. Must be kind. Must have a continental U.S. Good luck, everybody. Can y'all see it? Yep. Here we go. Let me get my paper out, even though I've got a little time. And channel members do not have to be here to win. I will run them down, or have y'all help me run them down. The Maroney. Is that Greg? Dude, he likes a front flipper. He won a front flipper. Congratulations, man. You have a light new Miguron Flicks. I will find the box tonight. I'm going to drop another email address for you, even though it's in my description, but y'all don't have to go look there. And guys, we'll have more giveaways coming up, and hopefully they'll get more sporadic. I mean, more. For a while there, they were very much weekly, and hopefully we're going to get back to that. So, Brother Maroney, please send me your mailing address. And also, if you're here, Double D Tent, send me yours. I will get everything packed up tonight or tomorrow morning and try to get it out to the mailman tomorrow. You guys, when you email me, one of the things that I do, I don't go check a bunch of stuff, but when you email me, I'm able to take your email address and pop it in the pirate ship so you get email tracking. So you know when the label's printed, you know when it's been picked up, you know when it's supposed to arrive. Guys, you don't know how much I appreciate y'all hanging out. I know we've got about an hour, but what I thought we would do is I would scurry over to Taco Bell because I'm weird like that. And look out for the guy or gal to your left, guys. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. I love each and every one of you. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. Peace.